What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important NYCFC talk show. It's time for the Dudes in Blue, episode number 153. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm your host, Joe Amato, and alongside me tonight is a man that needs very little introduction. He hails all the way from Italy. He's joining us special for episode number 153 to celebrate NYCFC's birthday. It's the one, the only, the maestro, Andrea Nino.
Ciao, Joe. Ciao. Ciao. Come stai, Joe? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's episode 153. I'm glad that you were able to join us for a couple of minutes on this very momentous occasion for the club and for the Dudes in Blue, I might add.
Sì, grazie.
So if you guys are watching on the Facebook feed, start dropping those comments. Let us know where you're watching from. Please share this broadcast with your friends because you're not going to get to see this too often. Andrea Nino, what do you think of NYCFC's now sixth birthday? This is a very special day for the club.
First, for all my Italian fans, voglio dire un grande auguri di buon compleanno a questa grande squadra New York City FC che ha un spazio grande nel mio cuore. I want to say happy birthday to a great club from New York City. It was a pleasure play for you. Salute e Chendan.
Well said by the maestro himself. Listen, I am getting a call. I'm getting buzzed from your agent that you need to catch a plane back to Italy because some grapes are going bad. So please be careful. Bon voyage, and thank you for stopping by.
Sì, grazie. Ciao.
All right, guys. So that was something. Listen, it's episode 153. It's NYCFC's birthday. There was no game this weekend. So we still have lots of stuff to talk about. We've got some MLS news. We got NYCFC to talk about. We've got some international stuff going on. We really appreciate you being here. We're always at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dudes in Blue. That's the best way to get a hold of us. I'm going to do a quick roll call here, and we're going to get kind of right into the content here. I'm going to say hi to Rajendra on Facebook, saying, "Hey, dudes, is David? What's up, buddy? There's Felix. Rajendra is dying. Yes, I'm sorry. We did not prep you on that, but it was a treat. David is saying that's not Franco. No, that was not Franco. Andres says Antoninho forgot all about me. Caballeros en azul. And Christian, should I just nod my head and agree? Yes. Amanda checking in saying hello. And you know something? I think we do have yet another guest coming on the show. Let me see if I can pull somebody in from the Bahamas. Let's see if this works. Look who it is! It's Antoninho.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I got caught up taxiing. I was Ubering somebody to the airport.
Did Andrea just walk past you in the hallway?
I think you might have. It was either that or it was Fat Mitch Hedberg. I don't know.
Unbelievable. Hey, dude, welcome back.
Thank you,
honeymoon's over. How does it feel?
It's awesome. It's really cool down there. Actually, the game that was on ESPN was great because we got to watch it. Took a little break from the heat, came in, perfect timing. It seemed like I was gone for like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden we're trading players and all kinds of crap's going down. So it's good to be back. Said I missed last week. We just got in a little bit too late with the weather. But Franconino did a good job filling in as he always does. He's always a treat to have on. But I'm ready to go. And then I'm kind of sad that we don't really have a game to talk about, but we've got some pretty cool topics. And I think this show is going to be a good one. We can get some spitball some stuff around and have a lot of fun tonight.
Well, now's the time, guys, to get your questions in because we want to talk about what you want to talk about. There's lots going on in the soccer world. I mean, seasons are over, and there's lots of trade talk happening across the whole universe of soccer. And if there's anything specifically that's exciting you in the soccer world, we want to hear about it and we want to talk about it. So drop those comments. Let us know if there's anything you want us to cover, and we'll do our best to get to it in the show. We've got some topics here to go over. But first, dude, it's NYCFC's birthday, the official birthday of the club. And, I think it would be a good opportunity to kind of look back on the last 5+ years and kind of go over some of the defining moments that kind of lasted with us, and start putting them in the comments as well. We want to hear from you guys. What were some of the moments that this club has brought to you that were special, because of their existence? Dude, what do you got? I mean, there's lots, I'm sure, to pull from.
Yeah, I mean, there's the obvious milestone moments. I think when it comes to players, you're talking about, hat tricks or high scoring games that come to mind, or specific highlight reel goals. But I think when you look at the caliber of players we had come in here, I mean, you really, even though it was the back end of their careers, you got to see three real, true world class players come through and don the light blue kits for us, which is pretty cool. That to me is awesome. And honestly, just being part of this league, you got to see a lot more than that. You got to see people like Wayne Rooney and Kaká, and you get to see Zlatan. It's actually a pretty cool. Yeah, it's actually a pretty cool. It's a pretty cool feeling being able to have the opportunity to do that. I mean, all the big goals, everything that, anything that's made a highlight over the past 5 seasons is pretty memorable. But I think now it's easy to lump those all together and not remember what's from what season, because we're cemented in now. We're ready to go, and now we're ready to move forward and push on and try to get some more memories in the form of playoff wins. So but sticking out, I mean, look, you had 3 great people who had huge careers come through. You got the ability to see them play and do some really cool stuff, all 3 of them. You got to see some kids that go off and do their thing and start playing well, like Jack Harrison. And you got to share in some milestone moments: David Villa's 400th goal, Lampard's hat trick, games in the downpouring rain, which seems to happen once or twice every season now. But those to me are just, it's been a lot of fun from year one to now. So kudos to them. Big happy birthday from me, and we look forward to spending many more with you.
What I got to say is that, prior to this team really coming to town, there was no soccer affiliation that I had that I felt truly close to. So,
that's
always
true.
following, and to be honest with you guys, I didn't really follow MLS prior to NYCFC joining the league. It wasn't a big deal to me. I always loved Italian soccer, always had an affinity for the Premier League and just players kind of all over the world, but I never really latched on until this team came to town. And I got to say, ever since, it's been a love affair. Gotta say, it's been good. There's been some positive moments, some negative moments. We've been there for both, but on a day like today, it's kind of just fun to look back and just be happy that we have a club that we can go and support and see and reach out and touch.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good point too. It's supporting from afar is a lot different than being able to go and actually have a vested rooting interest in a team that you could see, less than 100 yards from you, from wherever your seats are. It's pretty cool. And when we had that ability, you and I, we took our old men out, we took our dads out, we went out for the first game, and I think we've had tickets to every game since.
Yeah, I can tell you there's only been one instance where I've missed at least watching a game. And that was the day that my son was born, but I still watched it later that day, so I don't know if that counts.
No, listen, it all counts, baby. It all counts.
Other than that, listen. Let me get to a couple of comments here on this before we move on to the next topic here. Amanda is saying that her best memory that she has is David Villa's first goal. I mean, look, every goal that David Villa scored was a momentous occasion. having that guy on the field for us, match in, match out, scoring goals. Even when he didn't score goals, the man was still a legend. Felix is saying that one of my favorite NYCFC moments was being on the field for David Villa Day last season. It was cold and rainy, but he had a great time. That's awesome. That's a hell of a memory.
That was awesome. That was really awesome.
That is a hell of a memory. There was another one here. David is saying the first win against the Red Bulls at Yankee Stadium. Oh, that was delicious, wasn't it? Finally, it was like the monkey off our back.
Yeah.
And then one more here. Christian Smith says, NYCFC's existence pushed me into sports writing. I started with Hudson River Blue back in early 2017, and now I'm their managing editor. This team changed my life. That is fantastic. So
yeah, I mean, look at us. We were only kicking the tires around after the first season in that first winter. Going in second winter, we were just kicking the idea around, and then we actually decided to do something about it. And I mean, I don't think there are too many other topics that we would sit here and be able to have discussions to the caliber that we do, not only together but with other people. So yeah, I'll agree with that. That's actually a pretty big thing too.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody's talking about when David Villa's 400 frame shattered. I think it fell.
Oh, that's not good.
That day. I don't remember seeing that, but I see all the comments.
I don't remember seeing, but listen, with this club, I don't put it past anything.
It happens.
I think that's totally possible.
Well, look, happy birthday to NYCFC. We got plenty of other stuff to talk about here, dude. So let's keep this train moving. I don't want to start losing people here. And guys, share the broadcast with your friends and tap the like button if you can. And if you're listening on the pod, we appreciate it as well. Dude, let's move around. Let's move around MLS a little bit here, but not super around MLS. Dude, Tommy McNamara is making headlines. Well,
that's
making
what we like.
A headline.
That's what we like.
Tommy McNamara scored the game-winning goal this past weekend for Houston. Dude, it was the most Tommy McNamara goal I've ever seen. I was when I saw the tweet, I was ecstatic. I was overjoyed for him and very happy to see that this man finally got on the score sheet for Houston.
Yeah, I mean, he has a knack for those garbage goals or something ridiculously stellar, but nothing ever like in between. Like I don't really remember him taking too many shots inside the box, rounders that rolled in. They were either like freaking 30-yard curlers that hit the top corner, or he was there for a rebound and ran, head first into the net.
Through the net.
But it is always nice to see our former players doing well wherever they may be, and especially Tommy, because he was such a fan favorite and put in a lot of memorable goals, like we talked about before, for the club. So kudos to him, and it's nice to see him get back because he was been pretty dormant for the last couple weeks, which is a little troubling because you think, a player like that has some stamina issues and maybe doesn't have a place in a lot of teams starting 11, but could be a bench player. You've got to find a way to find points if you're a bench player because your minutes are limited and you don't have that much time to do what you're brought on to do. So good for him, and I hope this leads the way for more and more tallies on the score sheet.
Yeah, just not against us.
Yeah.
That's fine. The only time I don't want it to happen is in MLS Cup final if we happen to meet them, because that's the only chance that we'll have in the postseason to play against Tommy McNamara. It's cool. It's cool to see that. When you latch onto players, you like to see what they can do post your club. Especially when it's a guy like Tommy that we loved so dearly, held him near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about soccer too. Maybe not in this particular instance because he was a fan favorite, but if you do tend to latch on to players and they go to a different league, it's actually not, it's not like most American sports where you can latch onto a player and the minute he's not on your team, he becomes an enemy. In this case, yeah, he could be an enemy, obviously, but I mean, a lot of the players that go to other leagues, you can still follow them and you can grow your fandom that way. It's very easy to follow a player to a different team and all of a sudden fall in love with that squad, and all of a sudden you've got another rooting interest, which is the great thing about soccer because there are so many different leagues and they're all super popular all over the world, where you can actually root for 4, 5, or 6 different teams within the same sport, which you really can't do here.
Nope, no, not at all. So good luck, Tommy. I'm really happy that happened for you. Another momentous occasion, though, over the weekend was the fact that Chris Wondolowski finally...
Wanderoonie.
Wandabaruski. Wanderino. Chris Wondolowski is now the MLS all-time leading goal scorer. He broke Landon Donovan's record, but he didn't just he didn't just tie the record and then break the record. He was like, I got to set the new one by scoring 2 more. The dude put up 4 goals against Chicago, and I know what happened, but we didn't get to talk about it. We weren't here last night, but we got to just chat a little bit about it now. For a guy that's been struggling to score goals, he sure as hell made up for it in one match. I'll tell you what.
So does this mean we can change the Landon Donovan MVP award to the Chris Wondolowski MVP award?
If they could say it 5 times fast, I say change it.
The CW MVP award.
But here's the thing. He's not necessarily going to be the MVP. I think if you're going to name it after somebody, they have to be an MVP.
And they have to also actively be retired.
They can't be playing?
No. It's one of the stupidest things. It's one of the stupidest things. I really can't. That's typical MLS for you, along with the Monopoly money we play with.
Christian says, maybe I'm just mean, but he'll always be the guy who missed against Belgium to me. Ouch.
That burns.
Ouch. Felix says that Wando did his thing. He was undeniable this weekend. It's true. I mean, look, when you could put in 4 goals against a team that we're actually going to be playing against this weekend, I don't know.
It's either really good or really bad. You're either showing us that they're really super beatable, or you just pissed off a hornet's nest and they're coming. So I guess we'll have to see about that one.
Yeah, we'll definitely find out about that. But look, congratulations to him. I know he's been knocking on the door for a really long time, and
someone let him in 4 times.
But he decided to not only tie it but break it, and then set the new one.
That's it. He knocked that door down and then went through the back door.
Dude, no. Let's guys in the comments, let us know how many goals now do you think Chris Wondolowski's going to score for the rest of the season? I'm only going to say he scores 3 more.
I mean, I'll be generous and I'll give him 6.
Okay, all right.
I think 6 with 4. I think that's a fair total for the season.
So we got to mark down that in episode 153, we said how many goals Chris Wondolowski was going to score. So by the end of the season, we got to come back.
Should have asked Andrea before he left.
He's not very good with numbers.
I bet you 4 cases of wine.
Felix is saying zip. He's not going to score anymore. David is saying 3 as well. Nice. David's on the Joe boat. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along here, dude. Kind of in the same kind of MLS vein here, but last week, the New England Revolution played a friendly against Chelsea Football Club, the Premier League side Chelsea. For those of you that don't know who that is, they played a friendly at Gillette Stadium. It was a great cause. The ownership of Chelsea and the ownership of the New England Revolution came together, and it was for a good cause. It was I forget what they titled it, but it was definitely against anti-Semitism, I believe. It was kind of stamping that out, something pretty big. And but the downside to that is that you got Chelsea, who's now going to be playing in the Europa League final next week, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek tears and ruptures his Achilles tendon and is done. Done. Now, I don't want to go on a Joe's rant here, but what the hell were they thinking playing this game and scheduling this? Don't you think that it would have been smart to say, look, we got a Europa League final we're playing in a couple of weeks. Let's put the game off. I know it might be an issue with ticket sales. I don't know how well the tickets actually wound up selling. I have no idea. I don't know the attendance. But at that point, when the team has something on the line, it's not like Chelsea plays on turf. They laid grass on top of turf. So it was like just a horrible injury to Loftus-Cheek, and it could have been prevented if this stupid game didn't happen when it did. It's not the game's fault. It was when the game's fault.
Yeah, this is another one of those issues with it's there are so many pros and cons to these games, and you try to look at them in a positive light, but this is always something that can happen. It's just the timing of the situation. Now, if this game was scheduled, in the recent few months, I think it's poor planning on both sides. I don't think you want to be playing a meaningless game as a tune-up game when you're getting ready for Europa League final. I just don't think that's the smartest thing to do. I think you focus on training at that point. If you're setting this thing up, months and months and months in advance, and this is the date you picked because it's the only time you can do it, and you don't really foresee, you don't know what the future is going to hold. Listen, it's tough, and with the scheduling the way it is, and the leagues playing at different times and at the same time, and us just pretty much starting and having bye weeks, going on, and them kind of wrapping up their season, but with big games to end on. It's tough, and you just hate to see it happen. You hate to see it any time of year. I mean, it really doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's just that now it's going to have more of an impact. And you hope that you can't directly see what happened. Well, you hope that you cannot directly see the impact of this injury on the final, because that would just be bad. You hope that the team can pull it together, and whoever's filling in for Loftus-Cheek can hold his own, and not let that be a factor in the outcome of the game, because that would be it's a real blow when it comes to friendlies. And then I'm telling you, you'll see less and less teams trying to come and play here with all the sod issues and things like that.
But not only that, the team traveled from Chelsea to Foxborough. They traveled over 3,000 miles. It's a 6,000-mile round trip for a friendly match. And Roddy Russell is saying that apparently Chelsea has been involved with this cause for years. And listen, I understand that. And he thinks it was scheduled at the start of the year.
But are they involved in the Europa final every year?
I mean, listen, they should be involved in Champions League, but that didn't pan out this year. Next year will be a different story. But no. Felix is saying that there's no way Loftus-Cheek should have played. The Europa final is way more important. Well, then who do you play? He came on as a sub. He didn't start.
Yeah,
it's brought him on as a sub. The guy plays for X amount of minutes and gets a almost a career-ending injury, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, listen, I mean, we're not, as fans here, we're not stupid. We want to, like, a charity game with a huge team is fantastic, but let's be frank. We know you're not going to see anyone's A squad from outside this country. You're not going to see the big names because they're not going to risk it.
Chelsea did this game, which was interesting.
And so I think this is the dilemma that comes with these games, and the All-Star game is part of it, and the International Champions Cup over the summer. You're getting B and C squads, and is that really something you're doing to propel the game forward here? I don't think so. I think you're kind of keeping it stagnant, and the diehards will go see these games because they love every single one of the players and they love the team. But if you're trying to grab a casual fan and make them a more permanent fan, I think that's where your issue is. I think that's the market they're trying to capture, and you're not going to really capture it by bringing a Messi-less team or a Ronaldo-less team or a Griezmann-less team. If you're bringing all these B squads, yeah, it's nice, but you're definitely not going to get the turnout that you would if you bring the big names. And then your counterpart to that argument is that you run the risk of these injuries, and it's in a meaningless game. So it's almost like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. You want to try to grow the game here by bringing these names in, and it's just they come and they could risk the injury, or they could rather stay home, and then you're seeing a B squad, and you're getting just a few people rather than a full pack stadium. So either way, you're losing. Somebody's losing either way somewhere, whether it's the fans or the teams playing.
But
so
dude,
I don't know what to
preseason
do
is
about
one thing. Preseason is one thing. When you're in the summer and there's nothing on either side, right? Like, things happen. Yes, we know that, but preseason is another story. Dude, you're smack dab in the middle of the Rev season. You're smack dab in the middle of Chelsea's cup run, essentially, right at the tail end of it, right before the main one that counts. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just against this crappy scheduling of these friendlies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think just scheduling in more than one way is a huge conflict when it comes to soccer here and there, and trying to mix the two. It's just a really big problem.
It doesn't make sense, man. Oh, look, you know, it's unfortunate, but it does happen, like we said, and but it could have been prevented. Could have been prevented if both parties agreed to just move the game. Joe, Roddy Russell saying also, who knows if the injury would have happened in training? Yeah, players get knocks all the time. I mean, we understand that, but it's like,
yeah, but
you
knocks
have to
and
train.
tears of the Achilles is a little different.
You have to train. You have to be training. You don't have to play these meaningless games.
Yeah.
You don't. You don't. At least you don't have to play them when you're playing them. You know, a couple of weeks is not going to kill ticket sales. As a matter of fact, it might even help ticket sales.
Yeah, especially this time of year versus the summer when you got more families kids are out of school and things like that. Yeah, it's just tough. And this is going to be a problem for the foreseeable future because I just don't know if anyone has the really solid answer to figure out what to do.
Can I just tell you how much I love Loftus-Cheek's name? Like, I just love Ruben Loftus-Cheek. It's just fun.
Ruben lost his cheek.
He lost his Achilles.
Ruben lost his keys. I don't know. It's something. But if he loses his keys, it's fantastic.
It's amazing.
If he misplaces his car keys,
Loftus-Cheek lost his
Ruben
keys.
lost his keys.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek lost his keys. Unbelievable. Look, it is what it is. But such is the game, guys. In the comments, leave some comments here. Let us know if there's anything that you'd like us to hit on, anything in particular you'd like to talk about. We might move to a little bit more international stuff here, unless there's anything here on the home front, dude, that you want to touch on, or anything NYCFC related or anything like that. But guys, throw the comments up there. If you want to put some rapid-fire Q&A questions up there, please feel free to do that, because we didn't put up an Instagram story for that one because this was a very strange week, not having a show last night, because Antoninho and I played in a golf outing yesterday, a charitable golf outing, which was a lot of fun. And
yeah, I donated a lot of golf balls to the golf course.
He donated a lot of golf balls to the water fund, to the wood fund, to the rough fund.
Good times. Good
Lot of
times.
balls.
Hey, but I am drinking. I'm finishing Andrea's wine here. The nice basket we won yesterday.
Yeah, there you go. This is hilarious. Maybe we'll save that for later, Carrie. I appreciate the question there. So Roddy Russell saying Sean Johnson on the 40-man roster. I assume that is the provisional Gold Cup squad, which is nice to see. Dude, are you excited for the Gold Cup this year? Like, what's the deal? Like, are we excited? Do we think the men's national team has a shot? Do we think this is a redemption shot for the U.S. men's national team? Is this another test for Greg Berhalter? Is this like a do or die situation for him? Is he in it for the long haul? Is this just a stepping stone in that process? Like, where does the Gold Cup sit? And you can put this in the comments, guys. Where does the Gold Cup sit on the journey for the U.S. men's national team at this stage of the game?
Listen, your ultimate prize is competing in the knockout stages for a World Cup and advancing as far as you can. Right now, you've got a new coach who's doing a lot of good things, but there is also a ton of room for improvement, which is good. I always said that if you can find ways to win games, and yet you still have room for improvement, you're on the right track. It's a very good sign. You hate to be losing a lot of games and having too many things to improve on. So I think this is a good initial measuring stick. I think these games mean something. It is a major competition. You've got a lot of good quality opponents. And I'm really curious to see some of these players who are donning the red, white, and blue for the first time on a big stage, and not necessarily international friendlies. Sean Johnson, if if he makes it, kudos to him. If not, who knows if we'll see, if we have. I think we have games during this stretch, don't we?
What's that? Do we have
Do we
scheduled
have games
games?
during
I'm
this
sure we
stretch?
probably do.
Yeah. So, will you see Stuver? Will you see um, Baraza? It's a good question. I mean, I always liked the idea of the national team. When you're called up and you have a lot of international players, it means you've got players that are playing at a high level. Very few national teams will just pull players just to fill shirts. You have to be the best of the best at that particular time for your country. So we do have quite a few, and although it's detrimental sometimes when you're playing and you have league games scheduled because of the way again the schedule causes issues. But it's nice to know that we have 9 or 10 guys that at any given time are are playing at such a high level that they can represent their nation. So I'm excited to watch. I love seeing the teams, especially from the Gold Cup regions, play. They always play with a lot of heart, a lot of feistiness, a lot of grit. So, but as far as USA goes, I think it's really the first big test for Greg Berhalter, and I'm excited to see what kind of score we give them afterwards. Whether they can advance a little bit and put together some strings, even if you lose or you lose a couple games, as long as you have enough positives to build on, I think it's fine. Nobody expects him to build Rome in a day. It's just not going to happen. It takes time for these. It takes months for these teams to gel, especially when you can't really train for more than 2 or 3 weeks at a time, in different spurts. So
Sometimes it's two
I'm
days.
excited.
Sometimes, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm excited. Listen, it's more soccer. It's different soccer. It's a different team to follow. So I'm ready to watch.
You know what's interesting to me is that Jonathan Lewis made the 40-man roster, and nobody on the NYC side is talking about him. And yet, Greg Berhalter selects him in the 40-man provisional roster. And yet, we're not talking about him because, well, yes, I understand he's gone. But at the same time, isn't this somebody that we should still watch, even from a standpoint of "I told you so"?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it that way, for me, honestly, I'm rooting for him to get minutes. Not to say I told you so, but genuinely for the kid, because honestly, I mean, whenever I interact with him, and I have had the opportunity many times to interact with him, I never saw anything that would really give an issue. I mean, if you're telling me that either the style doesn't fit or some attitude behind closed doors that's changing opinions about him, I can't speak on that. But to say I told you so, it's like, what are we really? We're really, you know, we're being petty with ourselves. We have other things to be worried about here with the problems our teams cause us. So I want to see him. I want to see him play and get a couple minutes, and hopefully he does well. And I wish him well too in Colorado. There's no ill will from me
No.
on this front. I mean, he's a good kid, and I hope he has a long, prosperous career. And we get to see him when he comes back.
Yeah, I hear you. Dude, let's get to a couple more things here. Christian Smith on Facebook brings up a good question, and we talked a little bit about it last week in episode 152. Christian Smith asked, is Ismail Tajuri Shradi doomed with the return of Matriza? So we talked about this a little bit last week. In when Matriza is fully healthy, who comes off? Because we've been playing well despite him being on the bench. What do you do? And answer the question, is Ismail Tajuri-Shradi the one that's got to go because just naturally that's the one that needs to go? It's tricky, isn't it? That's a good question.
Yes and no. I'm at this point. If you get injured, obviously it's not necessarily your fault. It's usually almost 99% of the time it's not your fault you get injured unless you do something stupid.
It's the MLS scheduling a friendly with Chelsea. Oh no, wait, wrong conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's their fault.
But if someone earns the right to be in the starting 11, I don't think you can take it away from them unless it's deserved. If you break your way into the 11 and you do something good, you deserve another chance. And if you do something good then, you deserve another chance. And you really kind of keep doing that. And honestly, if you compile 5 or 6 good ones and 1 bad one, I think you still get a chance. I think it's more up to Matriza to find his way back in and, come in as a sub and put 2 in the back of the net, if possible, in order to try to weasel his way back in, rather than just make Izzy take a back seat. But both of them are going to be really important, and I think both are going to have to learn to play whatever card, play whatever hand they're given, because you can't be upset when you've got too many people at one spot. You're all going to get minutes because of the way scheduling and things like that. There's going to be weeks where you've got 3 games in 12 days. So you're going to have to play. And it's just, at this point in people's careers, you just have to look at yourself and say, when I get the opportunity, I need to capitalize. And too many people are people get handed opportunities and they don't do anything with them, a la Jesus Medina so far. When you're given minutes, you really need to do something. Some players try to do too much, and it's an issue. Other people just can't seem to find it, and they find themselves traded to Colorado.
Yeah, where he'll
right?
probably thrive.
So my best advice is to Izzy, buckle down and be able to play defense. And you never know when one of the backs ends up being replaced, and you can go play a different position. If Ben Sweat or someone gets injured and Mata's already on the field, and you could swap somebody and let him play at a wing back position, you might have to do that, because if you're helpful on the field on the defensive side, and you have that type of offensive skill, you're a great asset to the club. It's really tough. It really is. And the DP status doesn't help, because you don't want to see $8 million tied to the bench.
Please.
But again, listen, I'll pose a question to you. Knowing what his price tag is, if I were to tell you Matriz is going to come off the bench, but he's going to have 14 goals this season, are you okay with that?
Yeah, of course I'm okay with it.
So it's like,
of course
I guess
because it's about
DP
goals.
Status.
He's brought in to score goals. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Ismail Tajuri-Shradi has more goals than Alexandru Matriza does at this point of the season. Or are they neck and neck?
Maybe he's got him by 1 or 2. I got to look that up. Where's Roddy?
Roddy, help! Come on. Get those numbers in. But it's about production.
Yeah, really is.
Sometimes, guess what? Sometimes sporting directors and player scouts are wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're wrong. Okay?
I can give you many instances where ours were wrong.
Right? So, look, not to bring something completely out of left field here, but, Juventus signed Cristiano Ronaldo to win the Champions League, and they got knocked out by Ajax. So
they got knocked out by dish cleaner.
Well, it happens. The point is that you can't really just rely on one person. But if you're going to spend that kind of money, that one person better produce something.
Better be a guy, be reliable.
You know what I mean?
Gotta be reliable. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen, because sometimes when you have too many people,
Izzy has Matriza by 1 goal, 3-2.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's really not
okay,
that.
but is it?
So, Yeah, but well, he's got. I mean, Matriza was out with injury a couple times, which you don't really want to see. Um, it's tough. It's tough. It's tough. This is what happens when you keep buying guys that play the same position. You got like 6 guys that can play on the wings.
Yeah, we have depth,
one,
but
one
the
striker
kind of
who
depth.
likes to play on the wings. So
Dude, come on, dude. We've played 11 games. The guy has 2 goals. Is that enough? Look, in the comments right now, I understand he's struggled with a little bit of injury, right? We know that. But 11 matches that we've played, 2 goals for Alexander Matriza. For a man that cost you $8.5–9 million, is that enough production given the minutes that he's had? And look, he's had his fair shake of minutes. He's had his fair shake of minutes. Is 2 goals and I think, 1 assist?
How many games did he appear in so far?
Are we going to get that? But that's my question to you guys. Is that enough? Are you happy with the way that this player that we paid so much money for and gave all this kind of praise, and now look at what we're talking about. We're talking about a guy that like Ismail Tajiri-Shradi, who had double-digit goals last season, who's now going to ride the bench because a guy that comes in because that we paid $9 million for has to play because we paid him that kind of money.
Yeah,
how ridiculous does that sound?
That becomes an issue. It really does. I'm actually just looking up to see how many games.
And I understand Carrie on Facebook. How many does Medina have though? Look at how much you paid for him. I'll tell you what. I don't think he cost $9 million to get him here.
No, it didn't. But believe me, we've complained just as much and more about Medina than we have Matriza. Really, it's not at that level yet.
All right, look.
Let's see here.
Roddy Russell, the stat man. The stat man's here, dude.
Love him.
Matriza, 9 appearances, 582 minutes, 2 goals, 1 assist. Izzy, 7 appearances, 433 minutes, 3 goals, 1 assist. In less time, in less appearances, more production.
Yeah, I think you would be more happy if Matriza was at 4 or 5. I think you might be a little happier. 2 is on the lower side. But listen,
Rajendra is asking, is there any possibility of having Shradi as a wingback or a midfielder like I heard is possible? I forgot where I heard that from. No, because who do you take out of the midfield? And you're not sitting Tinnerholm.
I literally just said that maybe 5 minutes ago. That my best advice to him is that if he can work on his defense, then in times of if he's going to start if you've got Ben Sweat or Mata playing back there the entire game and you want to boost the offense, you can throw him back there. He can play on the wings, and if he's got good defensive skills, he can play back there. He's got the pace to do so. I'm not saying you start him over them. But if Mata's injured and Ben Sweat needs a break and you want to play Izzy at left back, and if he has a defensive ability to do it, I know he's got the pace. If he's got the defensive ability to do it, then you try it. Listen, you've tried Mata up top, so why not try Izzy back?
You tried Mata at left back,
and
he got hurt.
Come on, let's be real. He can go to the drive-thru at McDonald's and get hurt.
I know. Oh, my God. Roddy's adding Hebert into the mix. 7 appearances, 453 minutes, 3 goals, 2 assists. All right, Hebert wins.
Yeah. Hebert's going to benefit a lot from other people's hard work, which is nice.
Fine. As long as he scores some freaking goals, I'm good with it.
Totally fine. Because he will create, which is fantastic. But I think that was what we were missing. We were missing somebody to capitalize on the hard work being done by the players. You needed that one guy that had the nose for the net. And you started to see Tati kind of figure it out a little bit. But once Hebert got here, you really saw what the difference was of getting a guy who gets into the right spots at the right time. Prime example was last goal he scored off the rebound. I'm sorry, but I would say a majority of the people who don't play striker or never played in that spot in the field don't get in that spot. And if you don't believe me, look at the first 5 or 6 games we played this year, because we had opportunities like that and no one was there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Look, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be a difficult decision for Dome if and when Matriza gets back fully, 90 minutes fit. Are you drinking Pirlo's coffee?
Listen, you left me goods here. What am I going to do?
Look, the good news is, the good takeaway is that Bear is fitting in just fine and is doing exactly what we need him to. There's a couple of other pieces that need to kind of step it up, and when that happens, it's going to be dangerous as long as it happens. As long as Bear is getting the service, Bear will score goals. Megamind will score goals. It's just natural. Dude, that's 45 minutes.
Wow.
We did it without a game. We did it.
It only took 3 of us, or 2.5 of us.
2.5, exactly. Oh my God. Well, and I know it's Tuesday night, and I really appreciate everybody joining us for the live broadcast on Facebook. And if you're listening on the pod, thanks for listening a day late. Hopefully not $1 short, but lots of good conversation here for episode 153. We're at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Dudes in Blue. It's really easy to get a hold of us on there. Yeah, dude, we're gonna be back on Monday night after NYCFC takes on Chicago in Chicago-ish over the weekend. Hopefully having that week off will kind of recharge the batteries for the squad and get them back to fully fitness. But let's hope it doesn't have the opposite effect where, the team that played last week has better legs than you do, especially coming after that big loss to the San Jose Earthquakes, because nobody wants to lose to the Earthquakes. Nobody does.
No.
So anyway, this has been episode 153. Dude, married life is good?
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Actually, I got some zucchini and chicken enchiladas that the missus made that I'm about to go dive headfirst into. So yeah.
Life is good.
It's fantastic. It really is.
Oh, dude, one more shout out.
Yes, yes.
One more shout out here. Roddy Russell, right here. Roddy Russell is making the big move to Korea, I believe. Picking up a job in Korea. He's leaving the States, going out there, making the leap. That's a huge commendable action there, buddy. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck. You better be in the damn broadcast, though. I know you're going to be like 28 hours ahead of us, but you're got to be in the broadcast because we need to know. We need our stat runner. So, best of luck out there. Salud.
Roddy, to you, my friend. Enjoy. We'll keep in touch, and if we need numbers, we'll come find you. You might be sleeping or having breakfast at some point when we're doing this, but enjoy. Thanks for helping us out all these years, and best of luck, and we'll see you around.
Absolutely, guys. We'll be back here Monday night for episode 154. But until then, stay blue.
Stay blue.